All right, welcome back to the waiting room with Dr. SEC. At this time, we are joined by Donovan Kaufman, Vanderbilt signee from Archbishop Rummel out of Louisiana. Prior to signing with Vanderbilt, he helped lead Archbishop Rummel to a Class 5A state championship and an undefeated season. One of my favorite prospects out of the 2020 recruiting cycle. Welcome to the show, Donovan.
How you doing?
Doing well, man. Appreciate you taking some time and being with us. And for our listeners that are not familiar with you, I want to just kind of list a little bit of your resume from this past season as you helped lead Archbishop Rummel to Division One 5A state championship in the state of Louisiana. You were named Defensive Player of the Year after tallying 99 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback sacks, and 4 interceptions, as well as 3 fumble returns. And I've got to say, one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen in a state championship game. In that game, you had 11 tackles, a game sealing interception, a 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, a rushing score, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery on your way to being named, obviously, the state championship MVP. I've got to ask you now, after all this time that you put in, all of the hard work, all of the extra sprints, all of the extra time in the weight room, I want to ask you, what did it feel like in your senior year to see all of your hard work begin to pay off?
I mean, it's a great feeling to have it all come together like that in the championship game. The last game is the best way to go out.
Absolutely. Now, soon after that state championship game, you signed with the Vanderbilt Commodores, and you had a lot of people that were recruiting you. I mean, it really picked up your senior year. You were on a lot of people's big board as far as wanting to get you to come and attend their school. What was it about Vanderbilt that made you know that that was a place that you wanted to continue your academic and athletic career?
I mean, it's the best offer in the world to me. You have big time football and big time education. You're in the SEC and you're getting a world class degree, so you can't really go wrong with that.
Absolutely. And one of the great things about Vanderbilt is you play in the best conference of college football in the SEC. You go against the best competition week in and week out. And so you got as much tape for NFL scouts as you'll ever need. But when your playing career comes to an end, however far down the road that is, you've got a degree that will take you anywhere you want to go in the world. And listen, it just means more to have that Vanderbilt degree.
Yes, sir. It's more than football. It's way bigger than football.
Absolutely. Now, recruiting really picked up your senior year, and there at the end, you had a lot of colleges in your ear trying to get you to flip on your commitment to Vanderbilt. So I've got to ask you, how excited was Coach Mason and his staff when you signed your letter of intent?
I mean, they was pumped up. They were trying to get me to sign in the earlier period, but I was like, nah, I still won't go out and travel. Take
Right.
some OVs. So I did all 5 of my OVs, and then after it was all said and done, I just felt like Vandy was home.
Absolutely. Now, for people that have not been through that recruiting process, they cannot understand what it's like. Because here you are, young man, you've got coaches from all over the country trying to pull you in so many different directions and trying to get you to make a decision that's going to impact really the rest of your life. And I know that a lot of that comes with how you build those relationships. Now, Vanderbilt got on the scene earlier than most of the other programs. They recognized your talent earlier than a lot of the other teams did. So, my question for you is this: during this process, who were some of the coaches that you really began to build a relationship with on the Vanderbilt staff?
In all honesty, I talked to literally every coach on the staff over there. So it's like all of them, and really.
Absolutely. And I know you were such a high priority for this Vanderbilt coaching staff. I'm sure that they all went all in together. Now, I want to ask you specifically about Coach Derek Mason, a guy that has been known to produce and develop great talent on the defensive side of the football. Was Coach Mason a big part of the reason why that you chose Vanderbilt?
Definitely. I mean, Coach Mason, he's a man of his word, just like I am. A lot of coaches when he committed, they won't want you to take no OBs, but he said, "Hey, look, man, I want you to enjoy this process, and if Vandy is a place for you, then it's going to be the place for you." So, and I told him, I gave him my word. I said, "Coach, this is where I want to be. I just want to go see other places," and he let me do what I did, and this is what we had today.
Absolutely. Now, I want to talk about the commitment it takes as a student athlete because you committed to Vanderbilt, which is, again, in the premier conference in college football in the SEC. The commitment and work ethic it takes to not only make it into this league, but to be successful in this league. But when you attend Vanderbilt, you're also attending one of the top academic institutions in the country. And there's such a commitment that you have to have, not just to athletics, but to academics as well. But you also attended a school in Archbishop Rummel that's not only known as one of the top football programs in the country, but it's also known as one of the top academic programs in the country. So I want to ask you, how is that, do you think that has prepared and shaped you for your time at Vanderbilt as a student athlete?
I mean, I know that Roma has done a great job to prepare me for college, for any college. So I'm looking forward to it because I don't really think that it's going to be that big of a change for me. Because at Roma we have no off periods. You know, it's straight work every day. Yeah, 7 classes a day, 55 minutes every class, and it's straight working. So I can't wait.
Once again, we're talking to Donovan Kaufman, Vanderbilt signee. Donovan, we talked about a lot of the success that you had this past year, being the Defensive Player of the Year in the state of Louisiana, winning a state championship on a nationally ranked undefeated team. And I want to ask you, listen, you don't get to this place alone. A lot of people have had to invest, a lot of people have, had to sacrifice to help you get to this place. So my question for you is this: who are some of the people that helped you reach your goals of being a Division One athlete in the premier conference in college sports?
All since when I was younger, you know, my dad, all of my park ball coaches, my coaches throughout high school, the trainers that I worked with, and they just all like helped me step by step. You know, when you're younger, you just learn the basics. Then you get to around middle school, then you learning more about football. Then when you get in high school, that's when you learn like really coverages. You learn checks. You like putting it all together. So I just have to thank those people that was with me all my life.
Absolutely. Now, Donovan, I got to tell you, last year when I watched your film for the first time, I was so impressed as I was putting together your scouting report and kind of looking at your overall picture as a football player. And at that moment, I knew you were a player that was flying under the radar. And as your senior season got here and you had another big year, an even bigger year, your senior season, a lot of programs got on track and began to recruit you. But still, despite the success that you had, despite all the awards and all the accolades, still there were a lot of people that were sleeping on you. So my question for you is this: has that allowed you to play with a chip on your shoulder? Because you really seem like a player that plays with a different level of intensity, almost as if I'm going to prove everybody wrong.
Of course, 'cause you know it's all about size these days, and I'm undersized. But I know for a fact that I'm better than half of the people that a lot of these schools can offer. So it definitely put a chip on your shoulder. But at the same time, all you can do is play football. So I played football and got my ring. That's all I could ever ask for.
Absolutely. Once again, Donovan Kaufman, Vanderbilt signee. Donovan, we appreciate so much you taking some time and being with us and look forward to covering your career over the next several years.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.